Hey guys, and welcome back to Content is Profit. First of all, I want to say thank you and happy Thanksgiving for those that are celebrating the holiday. I know a lot of the people listen here in the United States, and for the rest of the world, I hope you are having an incredible day. Today, I bring a little bit of a different episode. This is a quick recap on 7 big lessons that we learned that can help you grow the business with content. These lessons are specifically in some of the latest episodes, which we can mention here and there if you want to go listen to the full thing. But we're gonna keep it short, concise, and maybe I'll share a story or two about this. Before we get started, if you want the one-on-one clarity challenge on if you're a little confused on where to go with your specific content, if you do have a business and make at least $20,000 a month, this one-on-one challenge is for you. We're gonna pinpoint a strategy that leads directly to sales. Go to bizroadsco.co/monetize. This is completely free. 5-day challenge. And also, if you want to be part of the community, you can go to businesscreator.club, where we have a ton of resources. We meet every Thursday on a open Q&A session where we collaborate and we bring a bunch of ideas in the community. Again, businesscreator.club. All right, let's get to the episode. So, lesson number 1, your content is a pipeline platform, not just a funnel. All right, so leverage your content to create a pipeline platform, which we talked about many, many times here on the show, that fosters high trust, one-on-one conversations that lead to sales and client acquisition rather than focusing on large scale funnels. Okay, so this is how we were able to monetize our show right off the bat. I think it was episode 7 that we were able to connect with somebody in our show by complete accident that led to our first big production deal. It turned out to be a 6-figure deal. Initially, when we first closed it was a 3-month deal, but we're like, wow, light bulb idea. The show is the platform where we can meet, we can create actionable content for the audience that we're building, because we had 0 audience back then, if you remember those episodes. But also that relationship becomes a source of an opportunity. And how we approach that is, hey, we would love to collaborate with you. And then on the next conversation, we're like, hey, maybe this product is a good choice for you. Maybe you know somebody that needs the product that we're offering. Maybe, you had an incredible experience and we stay in touch for future reference. And a good example here is one of our latest clients, which they have about 20 million downloads in their podcast, probably one of the top shows in business in the world. Came because of this process. Somebody that engaged with us, and 2 years later, we were able to reconnect, and now we're working together. So change your point of view with the content. Yes, it is going to help an audience, but initially, if you are doing collaborative content where you create with somebody else, and that could be a vlog, that could be a blog, that could be a podcast, that could be short form, that could be Instagram live conversations with somebody else, keep in mind that that person can be a source of opportunity. There is a way that you can tackle those conversations in a very good way that is not salesy, because we've been on the other side. We've been on shows that their sole purpose is to sell you their product. This is not what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about investing in that relationship, so then it could be a mutually beneficial relationship on the business side. So if you want to listen more in detail, episode 693, how can you monetize faster? There we go. All right. Lesson number 2, your why must be clear. All right. So before you start creating any content, you must clearly define its purpose and how it directly connects your business goals. Just creating is not enough. So and again, this is feedback from a lot of years trying to do this. And believe me, we started with the goal not clear, and we've been revisited this every single year. It's like, what is our goal? How can we do this? And the times and the years and the months that we don't do it, we don't see the result on the other end. So that's how we landed as, okay, the podcast, instead of lead gen for a period of time when, episodes 200 to 400, which was that idea. We had no idea what type of lead we needed, what type of customer we were helping. There was no clarity. And hence, it was a very slow for us to be able to transform into that. So we came back to, okay, let's focus really on the relationship. But if you are, and just earlier today, I was working on some research for YouTube for one of our customers, they have a very clear goal. They have a very clear customer that they're helping. Yesterday, me and Fonzie met for 6 hours to deep dive in like who is the actual person that we're helping, because you're gonna see something down the line that is really interesting. So, I guess the advantage of just creating is gonna unlock the creativity, right? Like if let's say you're not very clear on that one person that you're helping, you must have a theory on who that person is and start creating with that in mind. But then you're going to get feedback either from the audience or conversations that you're having leading to your product. And then those conversations are actually going to give you specific feedback on like what to continue to create. So feedback loop, just make sure that we do this. We talk about this in more in depth. Episode 692, why most people create content for the wrong reasons and what you can do instead. Ooh. All right. Number 3, content is fuel, not the spark. This is what I mean by that. Your show should be the fuel that amplifies and supports your existing business model, not the entire spark you depend on to start your growth. So this comes from a lot of people coming to our studio and they just want to create content and then create the business. And this is like typical influencer thing, because we do consume a ton of content where we are there and we're like, well, this creator, now his videos are going viral and now he's selling a product. He is an affiliate. He's doing all these things because of the content. And again, yes, that does happen, but keep in mind, those creators have been creating for a long, long time without having a business. So they might have a job and then they start this part-time and then, they dedicate their soul. They are actual creators and they improve their content so their content becomes a product and then they can do the business. Most of us entrepreneurs and business people already have a product, already have a service, already have something that is adding value to somebody else. And then we're trying to create the content to drive traffic to that. If you are in this position, you're probably in one of the best positions to start the business because you have resources that you can start assigning to your content process, whether that is creation, whether that is production, whether that is ideation, distribution. Like, how do we connect the content to like how we monetize? How are we selling this thing? Because you're already selling the thing. We just need to figure out now the attention part. And that could be organic, that could be paid. There's 1,000 ways and tactics that you can do that. But number one is like, how can we stay consistent so we can fuel the business? So if you're starting to create and you're on those two, if you don't have a business, then you're in the business of a creator. Just make sure that you manage your resources correctly if you have no idea. And that process of creation can help you identify what product to create. But if you are on the other side of the spectrum and you're a full business, this is great because now you can use those resources to create a very targeted message, different formats. That could be YouTube, that could be a podcast, to drive traffic into your product. You can listen more in episode 691, Why Your Content is Growing with Seth. That was a rerun that we did. And he is Alex Hormozi, producer. This guy just sold 1 million copies of his book in one weekend. If you don't believe me, go check it out. All right, number 4, focus on the right data. Success in content creation isn't just about vanity metrics like the downloads. You must focus on the data points that directly indicate business growth, client engagement, and profit. So on this one, gonna be completely honest, for the first like 400 episodes, hold on, excuse me. All right, this weather here in Florida is like, 100 degrees one day and then it's like 32 degrees the next. So it got me going. But anyways, back to the data. To be completely honest, for the first like 100 episodes, we saw no data on podcasts. And it's because we were solely focusing on like, can we be consistent? Before that, we tried like 3 years to create content. Nothing was consistent. We didn't get any results. Like, can we create content consistently with people that can drive our business? So our data point there was, how many quality guests are we having? Yes, we know the content is going to get better. It sucked at first. Like, we're trying to get better. But our data point is like, is that person a good fit, not only for the content, but also for referrals in the future, for goodwill, for status in our industry, for maybe a customer down the road, right? Now, if you are tackling the content with the eyes of like, this content, if somebody sees it and then that leads to an email list or that leads to more business, perfect. We have to be started looking at data. For example, on YouTube, people see the thumbnail. What's the click-through rate? Are they like, if they click the thumbnail and they watch the video, awesome. When they get to see the video, like how long are they watching? Sometimes we're putting our call to actions at the end of the episode. Turns out that 1% of the people consuming get to that point. A lot less are going to be like, okay, I am going to click. So it's like, if people are consuming the first 20% of the video, why are they dropping off? Can we put the call to action at the very beginning? Can we get better as creators and extend that, right? So people can consume more, can trust us more, how can we become better creators? For podcasts, audio only, Spotify gives you good data, Apple gives you good data. Where are they falling off on that episode? There's a reason we don't have long intros anymore. Everybody was skipping them. So how can we learn to do that? And then in our call to actions, every time we put something out there, are people transferring? Are people applying? Are people clicking? Are people going through those pages? And that way we can identify. So same thing. You can listen to a little bit more on that in depth with the rerun that we did with Seth Silvers in why your content isn't growing. Now, number 5, the secret to dream collaboration is, drumroll please, connection. So landing your ideal guest or collaborations or customers has less to do with your pure talent and more to do with building genuine, powerful, and intentional relationships. Every time that we go out there and we try to pitch the show, this happened a lot at the beginning, not a lot lately, but at the beginning, we knew, we're like, oh my gosh, we're level D influencers and we're trying to get the level A's. How can we get those level A's to come to our platform and share their secrets and share their information and ultimately become good relationships in our business? It can be very intimidating, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, for us, what did it was start going to events, start going to masterminds, and start going to online groups where we will meet these people. And sometimes the people that we wanted to bring into the show was a speaker in that group, and we will reach out because we will ask really smart questions in the event, and they will remember us, and then we will bring it. That's how we got guests like Todd Brown, like Chris Doe, for example. That at the time that we brought, he had about 1 million subscribers in his YouTube channel. This was like 4 years ago, right? And then eventually that person introduces somebody else, and then somebody else. But it was all about the intentional relationship, right? It's like, how can we actually become, if we focus on that relationship that asks to bring him to collaborate, it's going to be a lot easier. Whether you're creating a YouTube channel, whether you are creating a podcast, whether you're creating short form content with somebody else. Here's another example for our YouTube, for our football show, the football show, which is on YouTube. I wanted a location to actually shoot it. We haven't gotten there yet, but I got the yes. And it's like the biggest like soccer store in here. Guess what? I will come in and then I'm an avid consumer of that shop. They know me. My kids go in and they make a mess with the soccer balls. They play with the staff. And I became friends with the staff. And until I became friends with the staff, I was able to do that ask. Guess what? They introduced me to the area manager and I told them the idea. And they're like, dude, we don't often do this, but you guys seem like cool people. Let's give it a try. So invest in that relationship first and then go do the ask. You can find out more in Why Content, crafting the best strategy for 2026. Those are like live studio sessions, episode 690. All right. Let's see. Number 6, prioritize business clarity and alignment. So this obviously has to do with a little bit of what we talked earlier, but take time away from production or the production hustle, how you want to call it, to ensure that you and your business partner, whoever is creating with you, are aligned on the business, are aligned on the things that you're selling, are aligned on the future vision. And this clarity it's like ultimately so important and is the key to avoid overwhelm and confusion in the future. Literally, like me and Fonzie just met a couple of days ago to go do this. Like, turns out that he had a different vision of what he wants to do. And we came out with like, okay, what's the hypothesis? Like, how can we test this out, right? On my side, I feel very comfortable creating a certain way. It's like, can we get to a middle ground where if we're both creating for that, can we do it, right? What does that look like? Make sure that you yourself, or like if it's just you, perfectly, it's your vision. But when you have a team, you're gonna have to share that. They're gonna bring you data, right? Go back to the data. Like, is it actually working, right? I think a huge indicator too is like, do you enjoy doing it? Do you actually enjoy doing these things, right? Make sure you take that into accountability. And if it's clear, the whole process is going to be a lot better. And number 7, to wrap up, speed up monetization by focusing on simple strategies. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. And this doesn't have to be like super fancy funnel. Things doesn't have to be crazy. Like a lot of the success that we've seen from the guests that have come to the show, and even ours, like we sometimes tend to overcomplicate it too, is we always go back to, it's like, how is it simple? And for us personally, it goes back to relationships. It goes back to the people that come to our show, the people that, in our world, when we try to get, super fancy with the landing pages and these things and all this. It's crazy. I mean, our show crosses 7 figures and the homepage hasn't changed in like 3 years, right? It has to be because of the relationship. And we probably should update our websites 100%. But that's not my point. It's like, I see a lot of distraction with the people that come in the studio, or the people that are starting out in the community, where it's like, I need to build like this funnel, or I need to have this website, or I need to do this. And they overthink their content over and over. Because they're overthinking their processes or their pages. So like, focus on actionable, low tech, one-to-one strategies that help you get paid and gain client quickly. Like, for example, the tiny challenge. Shout out to Fonzie and Richmond, which was an episode, right? Which is super simple to follow. Go listen to that episode. He gives you the entire roadmap with Richmond Din, right? A good example is like, okay, let's do. If you go to bistros.co/monetize, you will experience this. You will see the tiny challenge in action. It's like, day 1, we help you. Day 2, we help you. Day 3, we help you. Day 4, we help you. Day 5, we help you, right? You get a solution. And then there is an invitation to work together, but you come out with a solution. It's like, are you actually helping your people? At the end of the day, I think it's Frank Kern. If you don't know him, go check him out. We haven't had it as a guest yet. We haven't been brave enough to go ask him. But I remember one of his actual webinars was like, how to help people by actually telling them, like, how do you help people? He was asking to his audience or the webinar. It's like, how do you actually help your audience? How do you help people? And it's like, you actually help them. You give them the solution to the problem that they have. And I was like, mind blown. We're like, okay, I know these people like teaching. It's like, well, do this webinar and do this thing and do this presentation and tease them and just give them a little bit so they can pay for the rest. Dude, like, people are going to find answers on YouTube. They're going to find answers on Google. They're going to have answers on AI. Like, information is accessible today more than anything. So like, help them, like, actually solve their problem. Can we do that? Right? If you do that, then you're going to have a path to move forward. If you don't want to do challenges, awesome. Well, does your lead magnet solve the problem, right? It doesn't matter if it's a Google Doc. It doesn't matter if it's like a voice note. Is it actually helping the person that is asking the question? And that's how you start building trust and rapport, and you can move them forward in your process, right? So that's from the episode, how you can monetize faster with or without an audience. All right, so that brings us to the end of this episode and the 7 lessons from, I guess, like a few of the latest episodes that we've published. But with that, I want to say thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you on the next episode. Stay tuned, because on the next one, I will go over like why I decided to go vlog with my family and lessons. And we did it at Disney with 1,000 people around. And like, I will walk you through the fear that I had when doing this, even though we've had almost 700 episodes here on the podcast. And I create content like in the studio today. This was a really eye-opening experience that I know most of you are experiencing today with other types of content. So I really wanted to go do that and document. And then we have Shannon, who's coming on the next few episodes. She started a hot dog cart here in Florida and started documenting her experience a few months ago. In just a few months, she's gotten to 76,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. So cool. And her story is so cool. And she was super open about how she did the whole thing. So anyways, stay tuned for those interviews. They're coming soon. And with that, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.